I was just gonna say that, you know how you mentioned we all have that one that kind of got away or whatever. So someone that I was in a relationship with for 2 years, this is when 2015-14, he was really adamant about me not being friends with someone that I was friends with for so long that was a male, and I was so rebellious against it. I was literally saying everything that you're saying, and now I'm like, dude, it's just it's a sacrifice that we're willing to make. That wasn't the only thing that was the deal breaker, but looking back, I'm like, man, he was such a good man. He had great leadership skills. He was loving, but I was just looking at it but I've been with this I've known this guy for so long. We X, Y, and Z, everything you're saying. But looking back, I'm just like, man, that was such a huge thing that I regret. That's one of my regrets in life, is just not submitting to that and letting go, because that could have been someone that I could have had an amazing relationship and marriage with, and
that was feminism poisoning your mind.
No, 100%. It was
It just sounds though that Corey is a little bit of a different situation. He's a brother,
and
you have
he
to
can
think
be
of him
amazing.
like a brother.
He could be amazing.
But this is what
my
women
friend
do,
was
right?
amazing
This is what women
too.
do. They'll listen to this. And when they see another woman faltering, going, you know what, actually, this makes a lot of sense, and it could lead to an inroad to happiness, they sabotage it.
It's self-sabotage.
And they sabotage it as quickly as they possibly can for other women. I don't know why they do this,
but that's the toxic side of that.
It has to do with mate selection.
That's the toxic side. There's also a healthy side where you do need to evaluate, what are my anchor relationships? I would call Corey an anchor relationship, a ride or die. He could be a biological brother. He's a different category than just somebody I've known for 10 years, and he's not adding that much in my life, and I'm going to pick this husband.
It's not for you to make the determination in a committed relationship.
I understand. I'm just simply saying it's not as black and white of an issue as it's trying to be.
I think it is. I think that if on the one hand you say, I want to have a man who's worth submitting to, I think that man is going to be somebody who you consider high virtue. And not only high virtue, but is going to take care of all sorts of problems you don't even see. You don't even want to worry about it. He doesn't want to fucking worry about you either. He doesn't want to worry about shit. He doesn't want to worry about fucking Corey. He doesn't want to worry about your relationship with he doesn't want to worry about shit. And you know how you can give him that great peace of mind? By not doing it. And that's the ultimate sign of respect. And that type of man who you show that kind of respect to will do anything.
You know what I think would be?
They'll give you the whole world on a platter.
What if he can make her happy by being best friends with Corey?
Yeah, exactly. Because Andrew, wouldn't you want to be friends with the guy and feel him
happiness. Out? See, this is the disconnect. It's not about her happiness. It's about what is submission. In the cardinal, when we're looking at this, we're looking at what is the dynamic between men and women which works best. What is the dynamic for family that works best? Here's a dynamic in family that works best. Proven over and over and over again. So if you think about tradition, think of it in these terms. Experiments which worked. That's tradition. So here, the family unit of a mom and a dad and children works better than anything else.
But what do you mean by works better? In an economic sense? How does it work better?
All outcomes for the man, woman, and children, if they stay together in an intact family, are universally better than any other single dynamic we've ever seen. Yeah, universally better the outcome.
Well, just because it's better than the other shit show doesn't mean it's optimal. It still doesn't mean that it's heaven.
Well, hang on. So unless you can give a counter to any family dynamic that works better than the nuclear cross-generational family, then you have no leg to stand on. And so here's what I'm going to do. Tell me a family dynamic which is better than a nuclear or cross-generational family. Just give me one.
I think a more tribal society, to be honest with you, is a better structure, because that way if a man dies, if he goes through a mental break or something and he's no longer stable, that woman has a social structure of brothers, uncles, aunt, whatever, best friends who just swoop right in. Structure. And guess what? Those kids have already gotten used to Uncle Corey and blah blah blah.
They still already have that social structure with the people who matter the most. Their blood.
Okay,
their bloodline.
But guess what? When you have a woman like me,
way more likely to step in and take care of your kids than Corey is.
I have no blood men in my life who are healthy by any means. Hence why I've had a stream of not the best relationships, because my dad was
You're proving
abusive.
his point.
The point, would be is for a woman like me, it would be more
You're making
safe.
my point for me. You're saying inside of your own life, absent this intact family unit, you had worse outcomes. That's my whole point.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I had an intact family unit with very abusive people.
Which led to.
Well, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to check my notes here. Did you say that your parents are still married?
No, they're not still married. But
And
I
when did they get divorced?
came from my biological parents never got married. My mother, when I was 3,
Then
married my
what are
stepdad.
you talking about?
You're proving his point, girl.
You're proving my point.
You said that
Over
you
and
have
over
had so
again.
many broken relationships or men that were unhealthy, and it's because
You grew up in
your
an
family
unhealthy
structure
home,
was
yeah.
broken as well.
Your family
No, what
structure
I'm
was
saying
broken.
is I came from as much of a traditional structure as
That's not
you
traditional.
can.
It's
There's a
not.
mom
That's in no
and there's
way
a mom.
traditional.
There's a mom. There's a dad.
Well, yeah,
there's
but
two
there's
kids.
biologically there has
That
to be a
love
mom
each
and
other
dad. We're
unconditionally.
talking about a traditional.
But
Hang on, guys, one at a time,
unconditional
one at a
love
time.
wouldn't
Let her
have
respond.
all these rules of we can't be friends with Corey. That's not unconditional love. I hate
No,
to
no.
break it to you.
Well,
So
hang
we're
on. I
dealing
hate to
with
break
the
it- I hate
best
to
that
break
you're
it
bringing
to you.
to the table here.
Hang on, I hate to break it to you, but the truth is that what you've done here is you have demonstrated very well my point, which is from broken homes
In a
come
perfect
broken
world.
minds.
In a perfect world, if a man met all of my needs and he was the most healthy, godly man, and he went to God every moment of every day and made sure that he was fact-checking himself, and he had pastors or leaders or ministers, grandpas who were healthy men, and he was every choice he was gonna make, he went and hashed it out with God and his elders, and then he came and stepped it to me and said, you know what, I know that Corey's your friend, but I'm just getting a little vibe there.
Right,
You know,
so
can
what
we
you're
talk
saying-
about
but
this?
I want you
And
to
then he
understand,
brings the wisdom. It's not just he's
Yeah,
coming to
hang on,
her
one
and
point at a
saying,
time.
it's
Hang
not
on,
just
one
he's
point at a
coming and
time, one
saying you
point at a
can't be
time.
friends with him.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, but one
I
point
just
at a
made
time.
it up.
So,
Brian's over there.
hang on. Before you go on a diatribe, just like let's do an exchange, a good faith exchange, just kind of one point at a time. The point one that you're talking about here, again, makes my point for me. So you say, listen, me. If a man will do X for me, if also me, and then on top of that, a little bit more me with a sprinkle of me, with a dash of me, with a cherry on top of me, then I will submit.
Well,
That's
at the
not
end of the
submission.
day, I'm
And so
all
what
I
happens
have.
is, hang on, let me finish. So then what happens is you split off from what you consider traditionalism, because that's not traditionalism.
I'm not traditional.
Submission yeah, I know, but that's my point again. You're not traditional, and the experiment of your broken family
Listen.
is exactly why you're in the
I'm
position you're in now.
super happy that certain people live in a society and a world and a family system where traditional works perfectly fine and it's beautiful. Not all of us come from that blessing.
That's his point.
That's because
And
you're
so, no, but I'm
self-centered.
saying I literally do not live in a safe environment.
Well, it's not going to be safe if the entire environment has to revolve around me.
Well, guess
What
what?
about
Like I
them?
said, I'm a mother. I can't go down. I have had men come in my life and promise me the world. They're going to take care of the kids. They're going to pay the bills. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Here's a marriage. Here's a ring. Here's a ceremony, blah, blah, blah. And then I get into it. And I agree to all of that. And then
Yeah.
shit goes really bad.
But I'm going to tell you the truth, and this is not a fun truth, but it is the truth. Stepfather myself. Okay, I have stepchildren myself. The truth of the matter is that unless you as a woman, if you have children especially with another man, and you're asking a man to share his resources, take care of those children, submission becomes 10 times more
Yeah,
important.
for real.
Because what value are you bringing to the table for them?
What value?
do you actually
I
bring to the
cook,
table
I
for a
clean,
man?
I fuck really well, I suck dick really well,
That's it?
I get the
Just-
bills paid,
But anyone
I take
can do
care of
that.
the kids.
Anybody can do
I,
that.
no, that's not true. I'm out
Yeah,
here
it
in
is
the.
true.
I'm out
Do you
here
think
as an.
that- do you think that women with no
Prostitutes
children
can do
can't
that
fuck
way better
good, or
than you,
what?
probably.
No,
You
honey,
think that
trust
women
me. I
without
teach
children
the
are
girls how to do
incapable
it.
of
I'm
having
a.
sex? Listen, do you think that it's really that difficult to satiate a man's sexual needs?
But
'Cause
guess
for
what?
the most
A lot
part,
of these
it
women
ain't.
have so many traumas, they can't even get there. They're scared of dicks. I'm talking real talk here. I'm out in the field.
You don't believe
I'm
your
talking
trauma?
real
You have
talk.
trauma?
I have had to heal through massive amounts of trauma.
But like even right now, you said like all I have is myself. When he was saying like me,
But
me.
that is
But hold
true.
on. But that is because you feel like all you have is yourself because you didn't have a mom and you didn't have that structure. You didn't have that support.
But
so you
guess
can't even
what?
you can't even hold on. You can't even accept a husband to help you carry the burden.
That's not true.
However, I've had my parents are married 50 years and they're happy. They have more sex than anyone I know.
I love that. Amen.
And I feel the same way.
as me. So, exactly, because we live in a particular society. Some of us just don't fit these cookie cutter molds of how
I
it's
think
supposed to
any-
go.
As long as you
probably
two
a
are both
self-rooted
happy
problem.
and you both can make the relationship
Wow.
work the way you want it to
They
work.
don't work though. So here's the stats on polyamorous
parents make it work,
relationships.
and they're pretty happy.
95% of them fail. 95%.
How
of
many
poly
monogamous
fail.
relationships do you think
95.
are actually very happy? Just because people stay together, which is only what 1 and 2 stay
Not
together.
about happiness. You
How
have
many
children.
are
Yeah,
happy?
yeah,
It's not,
It's
it's
not
not
about
even
happiness.
about happiness, to
It's
be
the
quite honest
sacrifice
with
and
you.
the commitment.
Yeah. Especially if you made it under
What
God,
about
it doesn't
your
matter if you
children?
have
I've been through
That's the
fucking
marriages.
hell, and at this point, I'm just here to have a good time.
So see, but you say that now, but when you're 80, and or maybe I'm not gonna say you, but a lot of people that think like you, they're gonna be 80 and alone,
Yeah.
and they're
That's
gonna.
not true. They're
It
gonna
is
have
true.
their
My mom
kids there,
sees it
their
all the
best
time.
Statistics are
their
there.
friend with benefits. They might have a spouse. They might have 2 spouses. You guys are.
I know,
this
but
is-
you're saying that because your
relationships
mind is
can't
thinking
be
of all this
fit. Relationships
realities, but
cannot
that's
be
not the
fit into
reality.
Hang on,
this.
guys, one at a time. Hang on. Let her give her point to the
You
gal in the
guys,
center.
this
Go ahead
is
first.
one Western
Hang on, not you. You're not the gal in the
religious
center.
way
The
of
gal in the
looking
center.
at it.
Let her give her point. You can respond. I promise. Go ahead.
No, all I'm saying is that you can think of all these realities in your head, like, oh, well, that could happen, but that's not reality of what really happens.
Do
if
you
you're
know
looking
how
at
we were
it.
designed?
Let her finish her point. Hang on. Go ahead.
Keep going. Just go.
Okay,
Speak.
sorry.
Speak.
All right, so yeah, so you're saying all these things, but the reality is, even like if you look at the statistics, feminists that are they're alone and they're on medications, antidepressants, like they hate.
That's a whole. There's so many fucking variables that
Okay.
go into this. You can't say it's because
I'm
of
not
this one
saying
thing.
it's just
go look at
because.
other societies
But
that aren't running
hold
this
on, can I finish my point, though?
colonialization.
What is 2 plus 2?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
geez.
start there because
No,
if
we're
you
gonna
don't,
be
if
talking
we're
all
not
day.
at
Let's
that
not.
same
On a
My
framework,
answer
we're all
is-
answers.
Answers for.
Answer what is 2
Why
plus
I
2?
like
2 plus 2
Ryan.
what?
Oh, so
In math.
the
But
numbers.
2 plus 2
I
add
don't
up.
even wanna talk
Arithmetic.
anymore.
But are we talking 2
Algebra.
plus, just like
Calculus.
like a piece of paper with the number representation of a 2?
Okay, look at
You're-
this.
you're
Just
in-
like
you're-
how I
How
added
many
up
cups?
your
Your
age.
age earlier.
1 plus
It's
1 is
math.
2 cups. There we
Great
go.
job.
Cups.
Okay, cool.